Hi everybody, this is Dr. Nigro with another Chem Calculations screencast. This one is going to look at how to work a mixed concentration problem. These are some of my favorite problems because for me they're kind of like a puzzle. All right, but this type of problem gives you some information about a solution and then it asks you to determine the molarity, the molality, the mole fraction, or some combination of those three concentration units. All right, so really it's a fancy conversion problem, all right, where we're converting among molarity, molality, and mole fraction. All right, you're also going to see density pop up in these problems, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Oops, I spelled density wrong though. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. Then, still bad. Gosh. All right, density. There we go. All right, that's why I'm a chemistry teacher, not an English teacher. All right, so when we work these problems, there's a couple things you have to do. First, you have to ID the parts of the solution. So you need to know what's the solute, what's the solvent, and you need to appreciate what is the solution. All right, now, if you've looked at some of my other videos dealing with solutions, you'll find that I use some letters to represent these parts. I use a U for solute. I use a V to represent solvent. And I use an N to represent solution. All right, I do this on the side of my problems and within the formulas because it just helps me keep track of what everything is without having to write a lot of stuff. All right, now the other thing you have to know is you got to know what each concentration unit really means. So you must know what each concentration is. All right, so what do I mean by that? All right, so we need to know that molarity, we say moles per liter, all right, but specifically it's moles of your solute divided by your volume of the solution. All right, so we can't put volume of solvent when we calculate molarity. It's got to be of the solution. All right, for molality, all right, we know that that should be moles of our solute divided this time by our kilograms of solvent. All right, so it's not kilograms of this whole solution, it's just the solvent. All right, we know that the mole fraction, we'll just put it for solute this time, is going to be equal to the moles of the solute divided by the total moles, which is moles of solute plus moles of solvent. All right, and then I'm just going to toss density in here because it does pop up quite a bit. All right, and that's mass of solution divided by volume of solution. So you can see there is actually a little bit of overlap between these two formulas, and that's where density comes in handy. All right. When you work these problems, you also may have to make an assumption. All right. Some of these problems don't give you all of the information you need. So sometimes you have to make a little bit of an educated guess. And usually where that happens is the denominator of one of these four concentration values. So maybe you're given enough information that you can do some of it, but you need the volume of the solution. So maybe you just say, okay, I'm going to assume that I have 1 liter of solution. All right. The key, you only get to make one assumption. All right, you cannot make a bunch of assumptions. All right, if you start making assumptions everywhere, then you're going to be in big trouble. All right, and 2, make sure it is for the denominator of one of these guys. All right, now for me, I also find that these problems can be very confusing in terms of what I know and what I need to find out. So I like a table. I'm a big fan of tables. So I split my table into 3 rows, which I label U, V, and N. All right, the U again stands for solute. The V stands for solvent, and the N stands for solution. All right, and then in this table, I put a couple columns. One is ID. All right, and my ID column is where I put the chemical entity that represents solute, solvent, and solution. All right, I also have a column for the mass values, so the mass of each of these. I have a column for the moles, and then I have a column for the volume. All right, so by using a table like this, it lets me keep track of what I know. And for me, it just makes it visually easier to figure out what I can determine and then what I need to calculate the different parts. All right, so I've only done one of these problems because these problems are also pretty involved, as you will see. All right, so I think one is enough for practice. All right, so I've got 10 grams of KCl dissolved in 1,000 grams of water, and the density of that resulting solution is 0.997 grams per milliliter. Calculate the molarity, the molality, and the mole fraction. All right, so as I said above, I'm going to start by putting together a table. All right, but I'm going to put it together the correct way. V and N. All right. Make sure I have enough room here. All right, so first, my ID. So what is each piece? So if I look at my two chemical pieces, I've got KCl and water. KCl is dissolved in water. So my solute is KCl and my solvent is water, and the sum of those is my solution. All right? Next up, mass values. What do I know? Well, I've got 10 grams given for the mass of my KCl and 1,000 grams given for the mass of my water. And the two together add up to give me 1,010 grams, which will be the mass of my solution. All right, next up, moles. I haven't been given any information about my moles, and I also don't have any information about volume. All right, the one exception to that, I could technically determine the volume of the water because I know the density of the water, but I'm going to hold off and see if that's necessary. All right, so I'm going to start by looking for mole fraction. That's where I'm going to start. So for mole fractions, I need the moles of my solute and the moles of my solvent. All right, and if I look, I have grams of both. All right, so that means I can use molar mass of each compound and figure out those moles. So I'm going to start with my 10 grams of KCl. All right, I use my periodic table and I'm going to figure out the molar mass. And I see that 1 mole of KCl has a molar mass of 74.55 grams. All right, if I do that division, I have 0.134 moles of KCl. So I'm going to put that in my table, 134. All right, now I'm going to do water. So I have 1,000 grams of H2O. All right, and I know that 1 mole of H2O has a molar mass of 18.02. All right, I do my division and I find that I have 55.5 moles of H2O. So I'm going to put that up here, 55.5. All right, now the total moles is the sum of those two. So I'm going to add those two values together and I have a total of 55.63 moles. All right, I'm going to put my units up here because I really should include units. All right, so to find the mole fraction for my solute, KCl, I'm going to take my moles of KCl, 0.134 moles, and I'm going to divide that by my total moles of 55.63. All right, if I do that division, I have a mole fraction of 0.0024. All right, so for my mole fraction of H2O, it must be pretty big. I have 55.5 moles divided by 55.63 moles, and it is in fact pretty large. 0.998. All right, and remember, I also could have just said 1 minus 0.0024 and gotten that 0.998. All right, so I have now calculated my mole fraction, so I'm all done with that part. All right, I'm going to separate my stuff here. All right, now I think I'm going to tackle the molality. All right, so to calculate molality, I need the moles of solute and I need kilograms of the solvent. All right, well, based on the work I've done for my mole fraction, I actually already have this information. So molality equals moles of solute divided by kilograms of solvent. All right, so in this case, I found that my moles of solute were 134 moles. I have 1,000 grams. All right, if I divide that by 1,000, that means I have 1 kilogram. So this solution is 0.134 molal. All right, so that one was pretty straightforward. All right, the third one is molarity. All right, and so for molarity, I need moles of solute and I need volume of the solution. All right, so again, I have my moles of solute. That's done. What I need, though, is this number right here. And I don't have information about the volume of my solute. I could get my volume of solution, but I can't do the same thing for the volume of the solute. So I need a different way to figure out what the volume of solution is. And that's where your density is going to come in. All right. So remember, density of a solution is the mass of the solution divided by the volume of the solution. All right. Well, if I look at my table, I know the mass of my solution. All right. So I can say that density value, 0.997 grams per milliliter, is going to be equal to the mass of my solution, 1,010 grams, divided by the volume. And then I can solve for the volume. So the volume of my solution here is going to be 1,013 milliliters. So 1013. All right, so now that I have the volume, I can use it to calculate the molarity. All right, so remember, molarity is moles of solute divided by volume of solution, and that volume has to be in liters. All right, so I'm going to divide 0.134 moles by 1.013 liters, and I'm going to find that this solution is 0.132 molar. All right. So that's just an example of where density is going to be used to help us find the volume of that solution. All right. In other cases, maybe we use the density and we know the volume of solution. So we use it to find the mass, and then we use that to work our way through the table. All right. In general, you need to be very organized with your information when you work these types of conversion problems between these concentration units. Do you have to use a table like I do? No. If you are good at keeping track of everything, you do it your way. I'm just giving you one option, and it's the one that works best for me. Okay, I hope that helps.